Hello all MRBers and welcome to another video with me, Mike McRock. I am one half of the MRB Wrestling Review Show. If you haven't been here before, hit that subscribe button down below this video. Click on that bell for notifications so you get the videos when they come up. And also comment and like this video and tell me what did you think about this week's episode of NXT. This is the May 24th edition, and this is the show after TakeOver Chicago. And basically, the focus and the emphasis on this show of NXT was the recap of that event, recapping all the matches from the NXT Championship match, the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the NXT Women's Championship match. So there really wasn't a lot of wrestling in this match. It was more on the recap, and I think they've done a really good job with the video packages recapping everything that went on in that event, as well as we got to see some backstage segments from Bobby Roode, from who else did we get? We got Asuka, we had Roderick Strong. I wonder what they're going to do now with Bobby Roode. Like, who's going to become his next opponent for the NXT Championship? I will probably do a separate video on that, talking about the potential opponents and who I think is the best opponent for Bobby Roode for the next TakeOver special. But let's get this review going. So, like I said, really the emphasis was on the recap more so than the wrestling. There was only 3 matches on this show, and usually on a normal NXT 1 hour show there's about maybe at least 3, 4, maybe 5 matches. So like I said, more emphasis on recap, less on the wrestling. But let's just talk about the matches on the show more so than the recap, because if you already saw TakeOver Chicago, you pretty much know everything that went on. And you could also check out my review for that event, and I will probably post a link for that video down below in the description box. So check my review out for NXT TakeOver Chicago. On this episode of NXT, we had 3 matches. We had Aleister Black versus Kurt Hawkins, the Velveteen Dream versus Robert Anthony, and Drew McIntyre versus Wesley Blake. And to me, the best match on this show has to be the match between Drew McIntyre and Wesley Blake. That was the main event. I felt that match was actually kind of fun. I'm not a fan of Wesley Blake at all. To me, when I was watching this match, he seems like he's just kind of floundering. He's just going through the motions. And there's really not a good direction that NXT can go on for Wesley Blake. I mean, the guy's just going nowhere. He's in limbo right now. But when it comes to Drew McIntyre, this guy is already a star. And this guy really impressed me in this match. Wesley Blake, he sort of impressed me, but this was more about Drew McIntyre, promoting him. Drew McIntyre wins this match, of course. It is predictable, but what they done with the match, I was fine with. I had some fun with it. There is entertainment to it, but it's not a match where you go, oh my god, this is awesome. This is really an emphasis on Drew McIntyre and really try to build him up to potentially become Bobby Roode's next opponent. Like I said, I'll talk more about that on a separate video, but I really enjoy what Drew McIntyre is doing so far on NXT. He made a really good comeback. I don't like his theme music. I don't know why they stepped away from Broken Dreams. That's the only nitpick that I have. But Drew McIntyre, the guy feels like he's a main eventer. A guy that should be main eventing an NXT TakeOver special event. He is already there. Whereas someone like Aleister Black, I think, will probably slowly work his way up and then get a match for the NXT Championship. Or what you could do is have Aleister Black probably go against Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship. I mean, I know that's an option that's floating out there as well. And in terms of this match with Aleister Black and Curt Hawkins, I'm fine with it. It did what it needed to do. It promotes Aleister Black. Aleister Black wins this match. I like what he was doing in terms of the in-ring work that he put in. We got to see a little bit more of him. I kind of feel bad for Curt Hawkins going back and forth from like main event to NXT. Sometimes he'll be a jobber on maybe Raw or SmackDown or whatever. But again, another guy that has no direction. A guy that WWE just doesn't know what to do with. Curt Hawkins, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I really do. But I like that Aleister Black is facing someone who has a little bit more years of experience. And to me, if you're wrestling someone, if you're starting out, you gotta wrestle people that have been there and done things that you haven't yet to get that experience working with a guy like Curt Hawkins. So kudos to WWE for, I don't know about booking this match, but making a statement that Aleister Black is a potential NXT Championship opponent for Bobby Roode. I'm not going to go that far just yet, but here's the thing about Aleister Black. For some reason, he comes across as another Finn Balor, where he has the cool entrance, he has the tattoos, he's got the look, he's got the theme music. But when it comes to the in-ring work, there's not much there just yet. I feel like that in time, Aleister Black will probably improve. We haven't seen him on the microphone just yet. I wonder if he can cut a good promo. That's the one thing. So, Aleister Black and Curt Hawkins, it was alright. But the best match on the show was Drew McIntyre and Wesley Blake. And in terms of the match between the Velveteen Dream versus Robert Anthony as the second match on the show, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it from the Velveteen Dream as of this moment. I feel like if you're going to have a guy with this flamboyant kind of style doing flashy moves, which is fine, I wanted to see more gimmicky things from the Velveteen Dream in the ring. That's the only thing that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the guy do some weird mind game flamboyantish stuff. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't get that. I wanted to see more of that. So, like I said, I wasn't feeling it from the Velveteen Dream. Can't believe I said that. But yeah. But overall, this show of NXT, it was alright. It's pretty much the Hangover from TakeOver, where you don't get a lot of wrestling, you get more recaps from the events that happened last week. So I might give this show a 2.5 out of 5. It did what it needed to do. It was more enhancing guys and just promoting the NXT TakeOver Chicago event. That's pretty much all I gotta say about this week's episode of NXT. And if you saw this week's show, what did you think about it? Feel free to chime in and let me know. And what are your thoughts about the show? You can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to become an MRBer on this wrestling review show.